All right, here we go again. This is a Stronger Together podcast. Thanks for tuning in or listening, however you are consuming this content. I am Matthew Joseph, your host, and this entire month we have been focused on the NICE conference that is coming up very shortly. This weekend will be all coming down or going for wherever you are. I would say coming down for some of you who were close to where the conference was last year will be coming down, or I will be going west to Albany, pick up Carl Hooker, and keep going west to Turning Stone. And Tim, I think you're going north. Is that correct?
North, yeah, you got it.
Awesome. So it's always exciting to welcome in Tim Needles to the Stronger Together podcast. We've had an opportunity to talk many times, but every time I learn something new. So for those who don't know you and your work, I'd love for you to share the work that you do now and then the work that you do globally to support the field.
Sure. So I am a teacher still, and I am technology integration specialist in Smithtown. So I work K-12, really helping support technology and creativity everywhere. And then I also am the NICE board member and head of Long Island. I'm also an author. I wrote the book Steam Power for ISTE ASCD, which is now excitingly coming out with its second edition. And this time around, I'm making my own cover that I'm designing now, and added 2 chapters, one on AI, because there's no book in education that cannot have AI now.
True,
and,
true.
And then animation as well.
All right, that's incredibly exciting. Are you teasing the date of that, or do you know, or?
It's going to be in the spring. I don't know exactly when yet, but yeah, It's exciting. It'll certainly, be in time for the ISTE conference and the ASCD conference in San Antonio.
All right, perfect. That's so exciting. The first book was so inspiring. And for me, one of the things I always am impressed with is the creativity. And I know you've been a help for me and many others in the TED Talk process. And, one of the things with the creativity is talking about the AI section. Do you feel like it's taking away creativity or actually enhancing creativity?
Personally, as an artist, I feel like it enhances creativity. And, that's not an opinion that all artists have. I look at it as another tool, right? Mm-hmm. So just like the pencil or any other, invention, it's like you find creative ways to use it, but, it's made my creative life easier and it streamlined my process, and when I share with students, I show them creative ways to use it. I mean, you could also use it in, ways that would be negative, but, I certainly see it as a overall creative tool, which is great.
No, that is great. And I want to dive into some creative ways to learn. And for me, the first time I saw playground sessions as kind of a way to disseminate information was in ISTE 2 years ago in Philadelphia. And actually, I think the New York team did their own playground. And I was like, what is this? And I knew a lot of people there, yourself and Yuritsa and Mary and Lori. I was like, let me go check that out. And I was like, this is great. And I've often gone to them. And then this year I was asked to do one, and you're doing many as well. And I also, from you sharing, you are kind of leading that work around the NICE playground. So I'm going to throw up the schedule here for playgrounds. And while that's up, I'd love for you to tell a little bit about the background of what these are and why these were selected.
Sure. So playgrounds are really fun. I like them. They're hands-on. You get, a few people around a table, and it's like project-based generally. And there's a stage also. So, we have about 6 tables and a stage. So they're short, usually 20-minute sessions on the stage. So it's the kind of thing you could drop in and do some hands-on projects and learn and actually talk to people in a more intimate setting. That's kind of interesting and fun. NICE members are always used to the Maker Faire, which is not there this year. It just happened this past weekend. So it kind of replaces that in a sense. That's why we wanted to do playgrounds this year, because it gives you that interactive kind of fun area that if you have an hour free in between sessions, you can kind of come down and just check it out and float around, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think for both the presenter side, but I want to talk about the participant side, what are some suggestions you have for people who are like, what is this? Is it like a vendor fair? Is it how is the best way to consume that content for people going in? I know there's not one way, but what would you, when you were envisioning this, what is your hope that people leave with?
These are really practical things. So this is the stuff that you get at the playground, you could actually apply the week you get back to school. And that's kind of what we always like about it, is that you can come in, it's very teacher centric. So that, we do have Lego and different companies that are there, but we always pair it with teachers so that you actually get this is how it's used in the classroom for you. So that's kind of the key, is that you could walk in and then literally grab resources and see how it's done and actually try it. So like it's a lot of hands-on fun things, everything from like drone soccer, to like playing with Legos to building an electric skateboard. Like it's wacky, kind of fun, creative stuff.
That's awesome. And I'm going to throw this back up because I think you're doing a few, correct? Which ones are you? I know you're overseeing the playground experience, but which ones are you participating in?
I'm heavily involved in the global environmental playground because we've never done that before, on Sunday evening, and then STEAM and creativity I put together just because that's my bread and butter. And then also library I'm involved with because the library thread this year is new for NiceGate, and there's a lot of librarians there. I work closely with library, and then of course AI and emerging tech. Which is the last playground.
So you're going to be pretty busy Monday. You're just like, I'm going to be at the playground all. They're like, where's Tim? He's at the playground. I'm at the playground all day. But because you bring so much of a variety of knowledge and experiences, you have a full slate. I'm going to throw up your full slate. Your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is packed.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about each of these sessions. And again, I won't keep it up there, but take a screenshot or hit pause and do what you need to do, or just go to the app and put in, and this is what I did yesterday, put in Tim Needles, all the sessions come up, and I hit add. So I'd love for you to take us through the barrage of the sessions you see here, and what would participants take away?
Sure. So we start out with the meetup, which is nice. So you meet up everyone on Long Island. That's always kind of fun to kind of plan the year. And then we are doing the Ignite with You, which is always a fun one. So 8 different people. I always love that because you get a little piece of, these like little nuggets from each different.
Yeah. And that's been, I don't want to say complaint at all, but that's been a challenge sometimes when you do present, you don't learn a lot. So I'm going to get 6 mini sessions at my own session.
Right. Yeah, that's the really fun part. I mean, I love going to that because it's like you get to see 7 other sessions. So
Right.
yeah, it's always a good time. And then, I started the Gratitude Project a couple of years ago. So, I have a session that is featured. So the Gratitude Project is there. There's going to be like little Post-it notes based on leaves, and you're going to talk about what you're grateful for in NiceGate Central. And then I have a session sort of talking about mindfulness in a creative way, and the Gratitude Project. So that's going to be fun. It went really well. We did it at ISTE in the playground, and it was really, really popular. So I'm excited to bring it to NiceGate.
That's awesome. So again, I'm going to throw this back up there while I ask you this question, because I'm going to do like what do you call those TV shows where they like cross different, like, and CSI, but the ones in Vegas go to Hawaii or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to, whatever it is, crossover. I'm going to cross over podcast for a minute, because when Lori Guion, who I know or and I were talking on Smile Factor about work-life balance. So the first thing I think about when I see this is like, are you taking care of yourself too, or are you just focused on this? So how do you do this? Because you were talking about your book and you're talking about being the Long Island representative. How do you kind of balance yourself? Because you have a job too. So how do you balance all of that?
Yeah, I mean, work-life balance is a challenge. There's no joke. I mean, some of the conferences, like, I found that I overdid it and I kind of pulled back. Even this year at NiceGate, like I had 2 other sessions that I actually got rid of because it was like, all right, that's too much. And you want to make sure everything is quality. You can't really, devote that much time. So that's really big. And then, you don't want to leave totally depleted. You want to be energized by the conference too. So that's kind of key. So, I mean, like, that's one of the actual things that I focus on. One of the nice things about telling people about mindfulness is that you get to practice it. So like, I love giving that session because it reminds me of all the things that I need to do. So that's always handy.
Yeah. So it's at a new place this year. This year it is at Turning Stone Casino. And I think from what I've heard, and I've had a chance not to talk about crossover again, but on when Smile Factor, we talked with Amy and Mary Beth, and they said it was going to be the largest attendance, the most vendors. It's actually, from what I hear, the largest event at Turning Stone. So it's pretty exciting and to be part of it and be part of NiceGate. And what are you looking forward to going this year?
There's so much. I mean, I really enjoyed Turning Stone. I have to say, like, it's a really fun venue. And there's so much there. I'm interested to see it all work. I mean, we've been planning it for a very long time, and we had a little bit of practice this summer when we were there for the retreat. But like, I can't wait to see it. Like there's a lot of different like portions there, and I can't wait to see everything kind of all pulled together. So I mean, I love the TED Talks. That's always a really fun. I'm a big advocate of that. So I've been really involved in that process. And they're really great. So I can't wait to see like the final version. I know, having done one myself multiple times, it's like the stress that's involved and, like the process. So like, there's some real validation when you see people, kind of come out with their talk and like knock it out of the park. So that's really fun. And then of course, just connecting it, it is the week of Thanksgiving. I think, gratitude is certainly a focus.
Yes.
And it's really nice to just connect with all these people that I know from around the country. NiceGate, even though it's New York based, has become more sort of a national thing, which is great. So there's lots of people that come out from other states too. So it's fun to see everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely for those who've never been. And, I'm not from New York. I'm not part of, I subscribe to NiceGate and part of that process, but I'm not part of any boards or in part of the conference committee. I'm from Massachusetts, but it's definitely one that I try to go to every year because it has that feel. I always say it's like they bring you one place, you're one place, and you just connect. That's always, one of the challenges for like the ISTE or FETC. You have your phone out, like, where am I going? Yeah. And it's a little bit of a challenge. So for those who've never been, and I know it's at a different place, so we don't have to talk about the place specific, but just the community. For the first timers, what would be your advice for first time NiceGate?
So, I think you want an amuse-bouche, like you want a taste of everything. So, don't worry too much about, focusing on sessions per se.
Mhm.
There's 2 exhibit floors. There's great sessions. There's terrific keynotes. That's always a really fun part. There's certain sessions that I go to every year. So the Ignite with You is a great one because you're getting 8 different tastes. So like, look at where you could kind of go around and get a real feel for these different pieces and see like what you like best, because everyone's a little bit different. Some people prefer one kind of session than another. I like more hands-on based things usually. And then like I want to really leave inspired, because at this point in the year, a lot of teachers start kind of getting dragged down. It gets a little tough, and you want to leave, heading into Thanksgiving really inspired. So like I love those inspiring sessions like TED Talks and like the keynotes.
Awesome. So one of the things I was thinking about is, you talked about, creativity and talked about presentations, and some people are going for the first time to present as well. And I know over the years I've had, many evolutions of ideas and thoughts and continue to try to tweak. And I'm really excited this year for NiceGate because 2 of the things I'm doing, like I said, the playground and the TED Talk, I've never done before. So do you have advice for first time presenters?
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think my advice is always to really consider the audience. So like, what people come in, looking for is one thing, but like you want to make sure everyone leaves with something. So I think presenting is like giving a gift. So you want to make sure you're giving your audience something that they can walk away with that's valuable. So, a lot of people make a mistake of like trying to be too focused on the information.
Sure.
But really, I think it helps to really think about, you go to a couple sessions and you start forgetting things. So like, making sure that you're really offering attendees something that's valuable and packaging it in a way that makes it easier to kind of walk away and actually do something with. So like, you don't know what's going to trigger people that, I go to sessions and like, sometimes just an idea is enough to kind of trigger a whole project or something. So it's nice to have like organized resources you could share. It's nice to have, a couple of points. You don't try to like do too much. I think, keep it, simple. Like if it's an hour session, you only want to hit 1 or 2 big ideas.
Yeah. And that was the next question I wanted to dive into, because doing these many times, and sometimes you get nervous, or we don't talk about things you shouldn't do either. Like for me, I know some of the sessions I walked away like, oh man, I didn't bring it, was when I had too much technology, like scan this code and go to this website. Like I tried to be super clever, but it was really too much of a workload for the participants. Is there something that either you've done or been in a session where you're like, if you're going to present this year, maybe stay away from this?
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a long list, but yeah, I've been presenting for like 15 years or something like that. So you really learn to nuance. And like one of the things I learned, I did stand-up comedy for a while. And one of the things you really learn is pay attention to the audience. So you might go in with a plan and, you see your audience, you have to pivot. So like, you really want to be adaptive. So like, don't be too fixed with what you're trying to present. So you might have an idea of how you'd like it to go, but really it's about the people in the room and, how that works. So every audience has a different personality. you share a couple of different people, it's going to be totally different. So it's really all like adapting to the situation. So, be open to, questions that might, go in a different direction than you planned. And it's really like, it goes back to that idea of giving a gift. It's, your connections with the people in the audience and sort of like, making it a valuable experience for everyone.
Awesome. So I'm going to throw these sessions up one more time. Take a look at these. You're going to be pretty busy from Sunday to Tuesday. Now, are any of these new for you? Like, oh, I built this for this year.
Most of it is really new. So
Nice.
all of it, yeah, I mean, like, which is a crazy thing, but like, I always do NiceGate, I always do FETC, I always do ISD. So usually I start in, in August, sort of planning some new sessions, and then sort of like bring them on the road a little bit. So like, by the end of the school year, I have them together. So, the version of the Gratitude Project is certainly new. I add to everything. Like, I'm still working on all of the sessions this week. So like nothing's locked in yet. So
all right, great.
I'm still adding to everything, which is always fun.
I like it. Well, thanks for stopping by for a short chat to pump up some of your sessions in the event. Again, if you do not follow Tim, make sure to check him out. His handle is there, or he's across social media platforms. If you're going to NiceGate this weekend, as I did this weekend, you can download the app and just put in search engines. I looked up a couple presenters that I always learn a lot from, Tim being one. Pulls up all their sessions. You can add them to your calendar. And if, like Tim said, if you just see each other walking around, like, say hi, connect, ask questions. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for me, is that it's very approachable. People are very approachable, from the keynotes to Amy, who's the CEO, to the board members. And I think that's what I always leave with, was it was incredibly welcoming. So Tim, I look forward to seeing you this weekend and being part of the learning with and from you, for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, can't wait. And I have my special tacos with Tim. So like, after the
whoa, how did this just come up? When is that?
That is, I believe it is Sunday night. So
Okay.
Before all the parties, I have we have about $250 of tacos, and I'm just gonna have a meetup with a lot of tacos. And
all right, is there a sign up, or I just show up? Where are we?
Yeah, it'll be in Cvent. Yeah, so you'll be able to find it on the app.
All right, I will definitely. I'm pretty sure I clicked on that. Now that you say it was in Cvent, I thought this was something new. All right, tacos with Tim Sunday night. Look forward to that. And Tim, as always, look forward to seeing you at this and all the events. And again, thank you for all of your help with the talks and support throughout. Everything that you shared was incredible, and has helped me personally as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, we'll see you in a week. And for all of you listening and watching, we have a few more episodes coming before we head off to Turning Stone Casino on a Saturday. Get ready for NiceGate. Tim, we'll see you there.
Have a good one.